Hello. Well, it's blower motor time. Since the old one keeps blowing resistor packs, time for a fresh one. So switching them out is pretty easy. And this is a nice Murray unit, and quite affordable actually. This was $40 some. Most others were like 80, and they still didn't insure fitment. But this was 40 some bucks. Available at O'Reilly's. It arrived within a couple days. I'm super excited. So far, it all matches up perfectly. But should note that this is the AC version. So wrapped around this motor is this plastic mount and then rubber insulator cushioning. And then, of course, on the end of the motor shaft is the turbine wheel. So that's where we actually have to start, is by removing the turbine wheel. To do that, simply remove this. Actually, it's a hose clamp that they use to secure that, and then this guy will lift right off. So let's do that off camera. All right. Yep, so we got the impeller wheel off. Set off to the side. It did take a little bit of work. I did have to ever so gently splay this a little bit apart. And again, I can't emphasize the carefulness, because I don't know how available these plastic wheels are should you break this. So we're going to try to keep it as tacked as possible. And before it goes back in, we'll actually clean this guy up, because you can see it's very dusty on the inside and the back side. This seems to be all of the motor's brushes, being it's on the back side, because the motor is exposed to it. But yeah. Before we go any further, I am going to make a few marks on the motor, so that I get the depth of this guy right, because when it remounts, this impeller has to be X distance from its housing, etc., etc. But you can tell how tired this motor is because it's really hard to turn. I bet I could turn my transmission easier. Well, this guy, it turns and you can feel it notchy, because that is the brushes and the commutators, as well as the windings going past the magnet wall. So this guy is in great shape. This guy is definitely toast. I'm glad I'm replacing it now, because it needs it. It is disassemblable, so we're going to see how rebuildable it is. Just for kicks and giggles, but for now we'll just carry on with the disassembly. So I got a pair of bolts to undo, and then this plastic housing will come out, and then we'll wire in the old connector onto the new motor, and away we goes. And then we're back in the car. So what I ended up doing was to fill in the gap, because this motor is a little smaller in diameter, or at least the motor casing is a little bit smaller in diameter than the stock one. So what I ended up doing was I found a chunk of silicone hose, and it actually is the perfect inner diameter for the outer diameter of the motor. And and then I just I mounted the rubber cushion around that, and then I mounted the two clamshell mounting halves to that. So now this is good to go. I even set the spacing correctly. It's about 3/8 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch from the fan blades to the back plating. Yep, and then leave about 1/4 of an inch exposed on the shaft. All that matches stock specifications, and there's plenty of clearance inside. So now, hold this in my hand. We'll go turn the key, and then this guy ought to spin like mad. So let's put in the key here. There it is. Key on in accessory mode, and it works. So you can see it's blowing at the low speed. I can crank it up with the next speed. Then I can go high. Oh, And then there's other high. So we'll dial that back down. Turn that off. Turn off the copyrighted Elvis Presley, or Roy Orbison. Sorry, my bad. And we'll put this in because we're all good to go. Because I put in a new resistor pack, new motor. I shouldn't have any issues whatsoever now. So we'll catch you guys later.